first time ever Russia files a case against Ukraine in European Court of Human Rights with following claims: deaths of people during so-called Euromaidan in 2014, a fire in the House of Trade Unions in Odessa and during military operation in Donbass, suppression of freedom of speech and persecution of dissidents by prohibiting the work of independent media and journalists, discrimination against the Russian-speaking population and removing Russian language from public sphere, discrimination against Russian businesses, loss of life and destruction of property as a result of shelling by armed forces of Ukraine on the neighboring territory of the Russian Federation, denying residents of Donbass the opportunity to participate in the elections to the central authorities, blocking the North Crimea Canal as the main source of fresh water for the inhabitants of Crimean Peninsula, multiple attacks on Russian diplomatic missions, crash of Malaysian Airlines plane on July 17, 2014 due to the failure of Ukrainian authorities to close airspace of the war zone, refusal to provide all the necessary legal assistance to Russian investigation authorities in the investigation of committed crimes against humanity. What really happened is that Russia began to use West-made domination tools that had been created to maintain its domination. It's pretty clear that the European Court of Human Rights is a tool for Western domination in the field of law, interpretation of law, and evaluation of the quality of judicial systems. It's highly important to understand this instrument was not created from blank paper, but thanks to the reputation of its judiciary and its school of interpretation of law, which was successfully built by the West. As of today, its reputation is not groundless. This is a real reputation that the West has earned over the centuries. These are centuries' work of judges, lawyers, parliaments, and of course, PR experts. To make a series of completely unjust, obviously fraudulent decisions means to destroy a tool of domination they worked so hard on. Now West faces a difficult choice. What's more valuable for it, centuries of its own work or Ukraine? What to choose, this rich and powerful second France, or an instrument of your own power? Second question facing West: if Russia uses a tool created by the West to protect its interests, to protect Russians, does this mean that it's now not only ours, but also a little Russian? What is more frightening, to allow Russians to use this instrument or to destroy it? Another dilemma: European Court of Human Rights is based on certain declarations and principles, and if Russia uses this court in accordance with them, therefore its policy towards Ukraine corresponds to the same principles. That's Russia's policy towards Ukraine is purely humane, open, in accordance with law. Can this be admitted? In general, the situation is highly complicated, but still Russia was able to put the West in it thanks to two things. First, the amendments to the constitutions that were adopted on time. In this case, we are talking about the norm set forth in Article 69. The Russian Federation provides support to compatriots living abroad and exercise their rights, ensuring the protection of the interest and preserving the all-Russian cultural identity. So defense of Donbass, defense of Russians in Ukraine became possible thanks to those who came to polling stations and voted for the amendments. It was they who gave the General Prosecutor's Office the authority to protect our people all around the globe. The second thing that allowed to take such a position is that country leadership knows how to ignore the wishes of communists who are constantly trying to solve their own self-esteem problems at the expense of interests of the country and compatriots, to leave slamming the door from all organizations, to leave United Nations, PAC, and even Olympic sports. A couple of days ago, one quite good lawyer wrote, "As I have already repeatedly said, Russia does not need European Court of Human Rights, at least in political matters. Anything related to non-systemic opposition, LGBT people, same-sex marriage should be decided exclusively by national courts." So here's a political case where Russia is using international institutions to protect its own people. We must be able to go where we are not welcome and stay there. We were not welcomed either in Berlin in 1945 or in Paris in 1840, but proudly stay there. So whose instrument of domination it is, we'll figure it out soon. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell.